Hello, hi, and welcome. Say, have you heard of the cleanup crew? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay, so this video is gonna be a very short one. It's more of a public service announcement, right? For the girlies, because we stay looking out for the girlies, regardless of where they are. Now, this is a trend that has come out of the UK. Well, at least that's where I've seen most of the content come from, right? It's based on the UK nightlife type of thing. So, what is the cleanup crew? You might ask. Okay, now forget the word clean, because they don't clean up nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with services, absolutely nothing to do with cleaning. It is essentially the idea of, or rather the practice of a young man in the UK mostly that hire like high-end cars, that hire luxury cars, dress up, smell good, and then right at the end of the party night, right, these people do not go to the clubs, they don't go dancing, they don't go to the concerts, right? They wait until they know that it's time for people to go home, and they go out of their way to pick up drunk girls that may not have a transport plans, that may not have a means of getting home. They may not even traveling with friends in some case. These are girls that are inebriated. These are girls that are drunk. That's essentially what cleanup crew is all about. It's a bunch of men that go to places of fun, of partying, of clubbing at the end of the night to prey on girls, because that's exactly what it is. It's praise. Now, girlies, everyone should watch this video, because we need to be careful. The men are finding every way to hunt us down, and if we don't keep a lookout, we are the ones that are in trouble. But anyway, take a look at a few of these videos. Let's see what people think about it. Now, in the comments below, please let me know if this is something that happens in your country, whatever country you may have. It would be great if you mention the name of your country. Let us know if it's something that's prevalent, if it's a normal practice. Does it go by a different name? Is this predation, or is this people that have found an opportunity and are running with it? What are your thoughts on this? In the comments below, please let me know. Don't also forget to subscribe. We are building a community, and I'd absolutely love it if you are a part of it. Anyway, let's jump straight into the videos.
Let's stop cleanup crew after a night out, because cleanup crew is basically just overage men wanting to take advantage of young girls who are drunk after a night out. The thing is, these men, they know what they're doing. They get the best rentals available. They put on their best outfit. They get a fresh trim. They put on their best fragrance. They get balloons as well as a package. And then they drive outside a nightclub and they just park up. And they just wait for girls to come outside and they try to scoop them up. On my mother's life, one time I saw a G-Wagon at Donuts and Chai. And I just knew the type of timing my man was on. I knew after that, he was definitely going to go to Broad Street and try to scoop some girls. And the thing is, people might say, oh yeah, these girls are grown as well. They know what they're doing, bro. 9 times out of 10, these girls are drunk. They might not be in the right state of mind at that time to make the best decision. And these men, they know it. They definitely do. That's why they get their best rentals and they pull up outside of these motives where 18 to 21-year-olds go. They don't get their rentals and then drive in broad daylight expecting anything to happen. I swear, they're waiting, they're scouting for drunk girls, which is not on, man.
If I pick you up in this car during cleanup crew, we go back to yours and you don't give me some.
The craziest thing about this year is that you guys will post stuff like this and act shocked and surprised when there's accusations or allegations on your name and people are quick to believe it. Because look at the stuff you're posting. And the saddest part about it is that if it's something that you truly don't believe in and doesn't align with the character, but you were willing to post it for just clickbait and views, you're willing to set such a digital footprint on yourself for just views, stuff like that. Because what you mean? Because God forbid a girl comes out and puts something on your name, people are not going to bet an eye to believe, because this is your thought process behind just dropping them home. Some of you lot don't think before you yap. You just do.
I'm not even being funny. I think we are some of the most creative people. You know, this whole cleanup crew. When I saw people are doing cleanup crew at concerts, I said, wow, you guys are being thoughtful at the end of concerts, picking up your litter. All I can do is shake my head. idiot. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and say idiot. Because clean up crew is another way of saying meeting girls. You people are creative.
If you're coming to university this September and you are a girl, you need to know about Clean Up Crew. This is essentially where men rent a very expensive car to make themselves seem like amazing. And then after the clubs have shut, or right before the clubs have shut, they start patrolling the streets, looking for vulnerable girls, looking for alone girls normally. It is very, very predatory, and you will be essentially targeted because you are drunk. You need to stick with your friends. When you go out with someone, you have to stay with them. This isn't the only way that you'll be targeted as a fresher. I made a YouTube video talking about the other ways, but as long as you know all of this information, you will be completely fine. Clean Up Crew, this is for the girls. You've got to be aware that this exists because it's a very sick society that we're in. And I'm sorry to the guys who are going to be mad at me for like posting this. If you have to do Clean Up Crew to get some, then you shouldn't be getting some. You should be focusing on like how to improve your fucking life, because that's actually so sad. Like getting rentals and like preying on drunk girls, that's fucking insane. And I'm not even gonna get into the whole borderline sexual assault thing because that's a whole nother story. But yeah, girls, protect yourself, guys, fix up and watch.
There's a whole debate about Clean Up Crew and all that stuff, right? At the end of the day, Clean Up Crew is weird. If you go to a club and you ain't been in the club, you pull up driving like, trying to collect drunk women. Come on, bro, that's just weird. Like, I think on paper you should know that's weird. I don't think it has to be explained to you. Like, why do you want to drive to a club and pick up drunk women? That just sounds really weird and long. And, like, you're on, like, that borderline line of, like, a criminal, like, doing a crime, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you want to do that shit? That sounds like hard work to avoid not it being a crime. Oh, they owe me. My nigga, you opened the door. The fuck? They don't owe you shit. The fuck? That's like 101. You can't give shit and expect shit back sometimes. It's common sense. You can't just drive them home and be like, I deserve top. That's crazy. And now you're weird and a creep. You know, it's weird.
Bro, this is insane. This is crazy. Now, mind you, let us not forget that someone who is drunk cannot consent. Someone who's under the influence of anything, even if I'm not mistaken, even if it's someone under the influence of medicine, like medical medicine, I don't know what the word that I'm looking for, right? Medical substances rather, right? If they are drowsy and not, unable to understand what they're doing, that person cannot consent, let alone if it's on alcohol, right? This is crazy. This is mental. Ladies, I'm really from the bottom of my heart, please, it's time for us to be extra careful. We can see that the world is going out of its way to make life difficult for ourselves. We have to find a way of protecting ourselves. We have to find a way of making sure that we are careful in all that we do. Because again, I know it's going to sound like we are taking the responsibility from men to act right. But at the rate at which things are going at the moment, what are the chances of that happening anytime soon? So anyway, let's see what else people have to say about this.
You up in this car during Clean Up Crew. We go back to yours and you don't give me some. Like Andy Lago would say, you have to right side. Let me know where it says Uber on my face. Let me know.
I hate to do this guy, but look, sexual entitlement makes dating and male and female interactions worse for literally everyone. And I just actually want to talk about how dangerous it is, because the belief that driving someone home, that spending money, that buying drinks, going on a date, anything really, you can be courted, whatever, right? It means you're owed something physical, sex, whatever, in return is just dangerous and toxic. There's this dynamic that plays out constantly in dating, that men often pursue sex as a primary goal, at least early on, right? And women know this, and some, not all, not the majority, but at least some, will try and leverage that interest to play men, right? To use them. So this entire mindset, this system is just so toxic and transactional. And it's one of the main reasons there's so much resentment on both sides, because we both feel used. Men feel used, women feel used and coerced and pressured, and no one's actually connecting with each other. But the real danger isn't just the bitterness or feeling used or resentment. That's all surface level. It's that second level, right? What happens when someone who has that mindset of entitlement, of transaction, takes it to the extreme? Like, I've seen a second video from this guy saying if he didn't get anything, he wouldn't do anything, right? Fair enough. But that same mindset, someone else will use and take it too far. I know people are going to challenge me on the numbers, but just please listen. There could be 100 people. 99 people might operate with this exact same mindset of entitlement, right? If I drive her home, I better get some. I pay for her drinks. I paid for dates. I courted her. She owes me. And then they don't get sex, and that's it. Nothing happens. They may end up bitter, frustrated. They may think it's unfair, but that's it, right? End of the day, both are safe. There's going to be at least one person who truly believes they're owed something and they'll take it too far. They might not accept no for an answer. They might become aggressive, threatening, violent, and they'll assault someone. And that's where this mindset of entitlement can ruin lives. And every time you reinforce the idea that driving someone home, that spending money, that putting in effort or time earns you sex or physical access to another person, you are contributing to a mindset that in its extreme justifies violence. And I know I'm taking it to the extreme, right? But I'm doing that because I really want you to understand like where it can lead to. And I have to be absolutely clear. Nothing entitles you to another person's body. Nothing. Not a car ride, not buying drinks, not an expensive dinner, not a series of dates, not a whole string of courting, not a relationship, not even marriage. Because you see it on here sometimes as well. Nothing. And the other side of that is, look, we need to learn to handle rejection without bitterness. Because someone not wanting to sleep with you is not that deep. It's not them using you. Because they don't owe you anything. They're just not interested. And that's okay. That is all right. Look, everyone is going to get played sometimes. Just have to deal with it. It's part of being a man. I'm sorry, you will get played, but it's not that deep. You're not owed anything. Now, if you're a woman watching, please hear this. Do not put yourself at risk. Whether it's for a free dinner, for a ride home, or money. Men are unsafe. And I'm not saying that as all men are unsafe. But men are unsafe. Because while most people will just be disappointed, you can't identify the person who won't take rejection well and the people who will take rejection well. So you deserve better than putting yourself in situations where you feel obligated or pressured or unsafe. And I know some people are going to say that sounds like I'm victim blaming. I'm really not. I'm just saying it straight. Look, I've spoken to the men already. They need to change that mindset. But there are going to be some who never will, and you can't control them, but you can control what you do to protect yourself. And I hate to say it, even in public, a lot of men, if they see this, if this was happening in public, may not help you because they understand the risk. An entitled man is a dangerous man to everyone. So don't put yourself at risk when you actually deserve, connection, interactions built on mutual attraction, not just leveraging and extraction. But back to the guys, right? Just drop the entitlement. Drop the transactional thinking. Drop the idea that you're owed anything because you're not. At the end of the day, everyone deserves better than this. And some people's safety literally does depend on this. We have to get it right. But anyway, it's just my opinion.
Guys, an early morning thought, but the concept of cleanup crew seems kind of predatory to me. Like a bunch of men who didn't even buy tickets to the event, waiting outside the event in hopes of enticing drunk girls with drugs and more alcohol in hopes of sleeping with them. That's literally what it is. I don't know why a lot of people are literally not really grasping the concept of how weird that actually is. And may I remind you all that drunk girls cannot consent. One night of cleanup crew, you're going to ruin your life in someone else's cell. I think after club events, I'm suggesting mandatory police presence outside. I think that will deter quite a few rapists who are waiting outside hoping to get these drunk girls more drunk so they can sleep with them, take advantage of them.
Oh, it's something I'll forever stick by as well, by the way. Cleanup crew, is one of the filthiest things about. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, someone took his girl from cleanup crew. Whatever, you can spin whatever narrative you want. But the fact that there's guys that are actively, not in the club by the way, they've been at home. They haven't had a lick of alcohol. They timed their way to get to the club when everyone's leaving, when all the girls are drunk, to go pick them up in their dinger. It's just like the biggest definition of just taking advantage of someone. Like, it's so filthy, bro. You get a little rental, go outside, all the drunk girls, get in my car. Like, bro, that's so fucked up. Why is that a thing? Why is that so normal?
Yep, and there you have it, guys. As someone who is not only living on this planet as a woman, and these are the type of realities that we have to face: disgusting behavior, predatory behavior, people that I can tell you 100% in most cases, if people saw them, they'd be like, you come from such a decent family. How is this the life that you have chosen? To prey on drunk women, to prey on women that are not at full capacity in terms of their mental functioning? It is loser behavior. It's peak loser behavior. And men just continue to look for opportunities to be shitty at every turn. Like, guys, my goodness. Yikes. I wasn't even looking for this. This came through on my FYP and I was shocked. And I saw that a couple of people were making videos about it. I'm like, is this actually a thing? Is this a thing? And I know, like, when we go out, there will always be a bunch of men who came there with no plans, right? With no ladies, ladies accompanying them, and they're going there strictly because they want to pick up women. Now, in this case, in a decent way of practicing this is if you find the girls there, you start communicating while they're still sober, while they're still awake. And then that seems a lot less creepy. Now, mind you, even if they agreed or you started a conversation while they were still sober and they later changed their mind, they have changed their mind. They have changed their mind, whether you bought them alcohol, whether you bought them this or that. They have a no is a no. And someone who is drunk cannot consent. They cannot consent. It is the same thing as ladies. Let us avoid going to places where we know we don't have a plan of how we are going to pay for our fun, drinks, food, including transport at the end of the evening. You are putting yourself in danger in a world, in a society where women are almost being hunted just for existing, right? It is just such a dangerous state to be a woman on this planet. Let's avoid situations that put us even further at risk. We already are. Girls, if you don't have a way of getting home, don't go home. Don't go out. Or rather, call somebody you know. Call a parent, call an aunt, call a friend, call a relative. Be safe. We cannot be out there, you know what I mean, trusting random strangers because they smell good, they look good, they are in a luxury car. Come on. There's a guy who spoke about that these guys actually go out to rent out these cars specifically for this mission. Oh my God. Like sometimes when you think about how desperate and pressed men are for bums, it shocks you. Because what do you mean you went to spend money for a luxury vehicle just so that you can get some? First of all, clearly natural selection is saying you don't deserve it, because if you cannot get it by just being you and not preying on women that are drunk, that are not in their correct faculties, to some extent, low-key, you a loser. And nature's trying to say that to you. That's why you're not getting any if you are not being, if you are not speaking to drunk women, if you are not engaging in dubious acts, if you are not, which is fraudulent to some extent because you are posing as someone that you're not. Bro, yuck, ew. Ladies, let's be safe. Do not go out if you don't have a full plan of how you're going to feed and drink when you are at the spot, and also of getting home. Now, listen, we get bothered even when we go to places and we have our own money, we have our own resources for the evening, including the ways of getting home. We will always be bothered, but it's better to be bothered and have the option of saying no and cursing a man out and saying, get out of my face, I'm good, I don't need your help. That's rather be endangered by being in that position, because we know that they will always react in a crazy way anyway, right? I would rather that be the situation maybe that you have to contend with. I like having to negotiate with someone who means you no good. Oh my goodness. Okay, the big sister in me just jumped out. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole cleanup crew culture. Let me know what your thoughts are on the manner in which men are acting predatory, right? And what conversations do we need to be having if this is where the world is at the moment. Anyway, let me know what your experiences. Have you experienced this? Have you been through this? Did you go up with someone, a part of the cleaning? What is a cleanup crew? What was it like? Are you a guy who's a part of the cleanup crew? Let us know where this comes from and your success rate. I think I'm also concerned about the success rate. Are you guys successful in your... Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm building a community. I'd absolutely love it if you're a part of it. So please do subscribe, like, share, and comment in the comments below. I will see you on the next one. Bye.